welcome back. All right, 12-game review tonight. It starts late because of the 7:30 starts. I'm not a big fan of the 7:30 starts, but at least that didn't go to a shootout. I was getting nervous late in that game there, but it didn't happen. All right, so we'll start things off talking about the Vegas Golden Knights and the Boston Bruins. It was Adin Hill versus Jeremy Swayman, and you would think with those two goaltenders, it's going to be a low-scoring goaltending. If not really. Vegas was blocking shots early. The Bruins pressed at 3.5 minutes. The shots are actually 6-1 for Boston 6 minutes in. COL-CHI has a shot that's caught and held. The Knights press at 6.5 minutes. Bruins press at 9.5 minutes, but Vegas again blocking. They clear it out. Boquist has a net feed that's held, and then Geekie on a breakaway off of a turnover. He scores from Frederick at 14:34, and 30 seconds later, I almost said 13, 30 seconds later, Boquist on a wrister from the slot scores from Lauko and Shattenkirk, and then a little bit less than 2 minutes later, 16:53, Geekie scores again, this time from Pasternak and Heinen. It's a 3-0 lead for Boston. That's on a 3-on-2 rush, and it's buried. And the Bruins press in the final minute. So fantastic period of hockey from Boston. All I could think was, hey, they're back. This is great. And then, then we get to the rest of the game. Second period is 1:48 in. Cotter bats one out of the air into the net. Roy and Theodore with the assist there, and Vegas is in it. Cotter then has a rush chance that's saved. Amadio with a near miss. Vegas with some momentum, and at 6:57, Pietrangelo buries one in close. Marchessault and Brisson with the assists, or Brisson. And I put up their collapse with a question mark, because it was looking sort of familiar, but before the third period. Shots are 12-3 for Vegas with 8.5 minutes left. Vegas presses with 7 minutes left. They get a power play, do the Vegas Golden Knights. Pietrangelo breaks up a shorthanded 2-on-1. They do kill that off, and then Geekie puts the Bruins ahead by 2 again. He scores the hat trick goal from Pasternak and Grzelcyk at 16:32, but Vegas doesn't let them get very far ahead. Amadio scores from Stevenson and McNabb at 17:46 to make the lead 1. It's 4-3 for Boston after 2. Third period, the early jump was for Boston, but Vegas presses at 2.5 minutes. We get a power play for Boston, chance to put them away. However, on a breakaway, it's a shorthanded goal for the Vegas Golden Knights. Stevenson from Waugh at 5:01. We have a 4-4 tie, and then Vegas finishes the kill. Shots are 6-2 for Vegas at 7.5 minutes. Bruins press are kept to the outside. Vegas presses with 9 minutes left. Boston would get themselves a power play, and they score on this one. They needed that. Lowry with his first career power play goal, I believe. Shattenkirk and Coyle with the assists at 15:23. With 2:59 left, Vegas draws a power play. There were some hairy moments during that, but that's killed off, and the Bruins hang on. And I mean hang on. Like, there was a puck that went in the Bruins net after the whistle in the final seconds there, so they hang on. They win 5-4. They go to 35-12 and 14 with the win. Vegas 33-20 and 7 with the loss. 3 stars in this one: Geekie, Lowry, and Stevenson. Shots on net, 16-8 Boston in the first, 15-7 Vegas in the second, 13-9 Vegas in the third. They outshoot Boston 36-32. Power plays, Vegas 0-2, Boston 1-2. The hits 35-30 for Boston. Hill saved 27 out of 32, and Swayman saved 32 out of 36. All right, next up, Carolina and Columbus. So it's Martin versus Tarasov, and this was a Carolina game. Shots are 3-1 Canes at 4.5 minutes. The Jackets press at 9 minutes. And again, with Carolina games, there's not a lot. It's just fast flowing, and the clock's going. They've taken up where the Islanders used to be. Good flow, fast game. Stahl has a turnover chance that's blocked. The Canes press with 7 minutes left. They get a power play. That leads to a shorthanded chance for Corrali. And that shorthanded chance for Corrali ends up helping to finish that kill. Stahl then has a slot shot that gets blocked. It's 0-0 after 1. Second period, teams exchange turnovers. The Canes have a 3-on-2 that's defended, and then on a turnover at 51 seconds, Teravainen kicks one to his stick and buries it. Nice play there by Teuvo. Canes look for another. Natchez would score, but he's offside. Columbus presses at 2.5 minutes. The Canes press are kept to the outside, and then at 8:19, Aho puts one in off Andrew Peak's skate. Shea and Teravainen with the assist there, so Teuvo with a goal and an assist. It's 2-0. But at 9:56, Sillinger scores for Werenski and Nylander. Alex Nylander, prominent in tonight's game. Canes press to respond to that. We get a power play for Columbus. That's killed off. And then Brady Shea makes it 3-1. He scores that one from Kotkaniemi and Burns at 16:30. The Jackets press to respond, but it's 3-1 Carolina after 2. Third period, Jenner has a net drive, that's held. The Canes press at 1.5. There's more pressure by the Canes at 5 minutes. Svechnikov is a one-timer, that's blocked. The shots are 8-3 for Carolina at 7.5 minutes. We get a power play for Columbus. They score on it. It's Alex Nylander from Roslovic and Jenner at 8:39. He tips it top shelf. So nice play there by Nylander. Danforth nearly ties it on the next shift. Svechnikov then has a net drive that's held. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Eventually, Columbus pulls the goaltender, which gives Jarvis the empty netter. Martinuk and Pesce with the assists at 19:45. Carolina wins this one 4-2. They go to 36-18-6 on the season. Columbus 19-30-10 with the loss. The shots on, or the 3 stars in this one: Shea, Nylander, and Aho. Shots on net 7-4 Carolina in the first, 12-10 Carolina in the second, 13-8 Carolina in the third. And you know what? I'm going to give Teravainen an honorary star for that first goal he had. It was gorgeous. But the final shots are 32-22 Carolina. Power plays, the Canes 0 for 1, Columbus 0 for 2. The hits 9-3 for Columbus. Canes not a big hitting team. Martin 20 saves on 22 shots. Tarasov 28 saves on 31 shots. So not quite like the Islanders in that way, but fast games. Not a lot of whistles and shot suppression. The Canes are all about that. All right, next up. So yeah, I already named off the records. Already got that. I know I did. Pretty sure I did. All right, Islanders in Detroit. Let's get there. Sorokin versus Lyon in this one. Power play for the Islanders. Too many men on the ice for the Red Wings. Pelech fires one wide. That power play's killed off. The shots are 5-0 for the Islanders in this one at 6 minutes. We get a power play for Detroit. That's killed off. 2 shots. The Islanders get a second power play. That's killed off as well. But on a turnover, Nelson buries one at the net at 12-11 just after it comes to an end. And then at 16-18, Cizikas makes it a 2-goal lead from Pelech and Dobson. So at 16-18, it's 2-0 for the Islanders. They reviewed that one to see if it was a high stick. But nope, not a high stick. And it was not a coach's challenge, so no power play resulted from that. 2:19 left, the Wings with a power play. That's killed off. It's 2-0 Islanders after 1. Second period, the Islanders press at 4 minutes. Rasmussen's denied on a rush chance. The shots are 3-2 for the Wings at 5 minutes, and at 5:04 they score. Mata scores from Perron and Veleno. Nelson had a net drive that was blocked. The Wings get some pressure with 8.5 minutes left, but yeah, after 2 periods, it's 2-1 for the New York Islanders. Third period, 10 seconds in, on a net drive, Kane buries one blocker side. Larkin with the assist, it's 2-2. Crowd's getting excited. Wings press at 3 minutes, but we get a power play for the Islanders, and they score on it. It is Nelson from Palmieri and Barzal at 5:04. It's a one-timer from the right circle. So nice power play there, and it puts the Islanders back in the lead. The Wings look to respond, and at 10:49 they would, or 10:44 I should say they would. Mata gets the second of the game. Gostisbehere and Sprong with the assists. The Wings press with 8.5 minutes left. But at 13:58, Barzal banks one in from a sharp angle behind the goal line, I do believe, and that puts the Islanders ahead again. The Islanders press with 3.5 minutes left. Eventually, Detroit gets the goalie out, which means Engvall hits the empty net from Holmstrom and Cizikas at 19:24. The Islanders win in Detroit 5-3. They go to 25-20-14 with the win. With the loss, Detroit 33-21-6 on the season. Your 3 stars in this one: Barzal, Nelson, and Mata. Shots on net, 9-6 Islanders in the first, 9-7 Detroit in the second, 11-10 Islanders in the third. Final shots 27-25 for the Islanders. Power plays 1 for 3 for New York, 0 for 2 for Detroit. Hits 19-13 for the Islanders. Sorokin saves 22 out of 25. Lyon saves 22 out of 26. So, yeah, not a great game for Detroit, but these things happen sometimes. All right, next up, Montreal and Florida. Montreal gave Florida everything that they could ever have hoped for in a test. And the fact Montembeault is not one of the 3 stars, what's up with that? All right, so it's Montembeault versus Stolarz. There's early press by Florida. In fact, the shots are 3-0 for them already at 2.5 minutes. At 7:01, they open the scoring. It's Barkov from Reinhart and Verhaeghe. The Habs would press to respond, and they do. At 8:24, it's Suzuki from Xhekaj and Savard. That was the second shot on net for Montreal, and it was scored on a breakaway. So Suzuki stays red hot. February's been a good month for him. Habs then look for the lead. The Panthers, though, they press at the half. We get a power play from Montreal. That's killed off. The Panthers, they get a power play. That's killed off as well. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period, the Panthers start with a full power play. Bennett has a shot that's blocked. That power play's killed off. Pretty good job by Montreal there. Power play for Florida after that, that's killed off as well. The shots are 9-1 Florida with 9 minutes left. So again, I'm surprised Montembeault's not one of the 3 stars. Panthers press with 7.5 minutes left. They end up going back to the power play, so they're third of the second period. They score on this one. Reinhart buries his 40th goal of the season from Tkachuk and Barkov at 14:08. And if you heard a yippee noise when he got that 40th goal, it's his agent, because that just means his asking price went up. Slafkovsky's denied in the closing seconds, or so it seemed, and then on a face-off they score. Slafkovsky at 19:59 from Suzuki. So the buzzer beater by Slafkovsky, and it's 2-2 after 2. Third period. Early press by Florida. Bennett's denied and close. We get a power play for the Habs, and they score on it. Montreal has a lead in Florida. It's Newhook from Caulfield and Suzuki at 3:26. So, yeah, I didn't see that coming. Power play for Florida. That's killed off. The Habs get a power play after that. That's killed off as well. The Habs draw a power play. That's killed off. The Habs press with 9 minutes left. And then the Habs get another power play, which leads to a shorthanded goal, which ties the game. It's Reinhart from Barkov at 13:05. It was a turnover rush, and yeah, Reinhart's got 41 goals and another shorty as well. So the Panthers finish the kill. Armia then has a rush chance that's defended. We're going to overtime. In the overtime, Evans has a net drive that won't go. There's a near miss for Newhook and close for Hagee. Couldn't bury one in close. We end up going to a shootout. In the shootout, it's Lundell that gets the winner. So it takes a shootout for Florida to beat Montreal. But they do. They go to 40-16-4. I believe they're number 1 in the NHL with that result tonight. The Montreal Canadiens dropped to 23-28-9 with the shootout loss. 3 stars are Reinhart, Suzuki, and Barkov. Shots on net, 11 apiece in the first, 14-9 Florida in the second, 9-8 Montreal in the third. Both teams had 2 shots in the overtime. Final shots 35-31 Florida. Power plays 1 for 4 for Montreal, 1 for 5 for Florida. The hits 29-27 for the Panthers. Montembeault saves 32 out of 35. Stolar saved 28 out of 31. All right, now I need to change boards. So Buffalo continues this pattern where they're winning enough games to keep that little bit of glimmer of hope alive. Luukkonen versus Vasilevsky, and UPL again. So Tampa Bay fans, you saw it. He's playing really, really well. Early press by Tampa. Chaffee's denied. Rebounds cleared. Hagel's denied as the Sabres get pinned down a bit. Sabres get some zone time. They're not getting shots at this point. Then we get a power play for Tampa Bay, and they score on it. It's Braden Point from Kucherov and Hedman at 8:12. Tampa Bay presses for another. There's a net feed to Stamkos that gets picked off, and on a turnover at 10:59, Alex Tuch ties the game. So you got to watch for that with Tuch. Tampa presses with 6.5 minutes left. Bolts press back with 2.5 minutes left. Points robbed on a net drive. Hedman fires one high in the final minute. It's 1-1 after 1. Buffalo's not going to make this easy. Second period. Hedman has a shot that's caught and held. Stamkos has a rush chance that's defended. The Bolts press at 9 minutes. Stamkos has a one-timer that's saved. He's not allowed to get goals anymore for some reason. The shots are 5-3 Tampa at the half. Bolts press with 8.5 minutes left. Tampa ends up drawing themselves a power play. That's killed off. The Sabres press with 3 minutes left. At 17:18, it's Chaffee. He scores from Chernak and Cirelli. So 3 C's in on that one. It's a point shot that's tipped in after a nice rush by the Tampa Bay Lightning. So after 2 periods of play, it's 2-1 for Tampa. Third period. Thompson has a shot that's kicked aside. The shots are 2 apiece at 4 minutes. We get a power play for Buffalo. And the Bolts were doing a good job of killing it off. They weren't letting them set up until Thompson ends up getting the power play marker from Dahlin at 11:23. So Tampa Bay gets another power play. That one's killed off. Sabres, they go back to the power play. That's killed off as well. Bolts press in the final minute. We're going to overtime. The Bolts controlled early. Teams exchange turnovers. Thompson has a rush chance that draws a power play. The Sabres call a timeout before the power play starts. It works. At 1:42, Dahlin scores the power play goal that wins the game. Middlestad and Greenway with the assists. Buffalo goes into Tampa and wins 3-2 in overtime. 28-28-4 on the season. For Tampa Bay, 32-24-6 with the overtime loss. 3 stars are Dahlin, Chaffee, and Luukkonen. Shots on net, 8-5 Tampa in the first, 8-7 Tampa in the second, 9-7 Buffalo in the third. In the overtime, Buffalo had both shots, including the one that matters. Final shots are 23-23. Power plays, Buffalo 2 for 3 and Tampa Bay 1 for 3. The hits 29-28 Buffalo. Luukkonen saved 21 out of 23. Vasilevsky saves 20 out of 23 at the other end. So, yeah, entertaining. But again, Buffalo's just, if not for all those losses earlier in the season, who knows, right? All right, that being said, Arizona and Toronto. Toronto hadn't won since the day that Matthew Knies was born. Not on home ice against the Coyotes. Makes sense that now Matthew Knies is part of the Toronto Maple Leafs. All of a sudden, they can beat Arizona at home in regulation. So it was Ingram versus Wall. And of course, Wall making his first start for the Leafs in, I think they said 3 months. Early press by Toronto. The Coyotes then get some pressure at 2.5 minutes. Matthews fires one wide. The Coyotes rush. There's a near miss for Dursey on a rush opportunity. Remember, he was a Leaf at one point. No shots on net 6 minutes in. So a lot of rushing back and forth and presses. Nobody's hitting the net. Krause fans on a one-timer. They get some pressure after that. The shots are only one apiece halfway through the period. Giordano gets shaken up along the boards and exits. It's a head injury. It looks like he could be out for a while. They're looking at it. Of course, they acquired Lyubushkin in a move that was unrelated to Giordano getting hurt. Bertuzzi has a net drive chance that's held at 13:04. Toronto opens the scoring. Knies from Marner. Great drop pass on a rush by Marner. Totally fooled everybody, and Knies gets the goal. Dumba then has a screenshot that's saved. We have a fight between O'Brien and Reeves, so the Leafs finish the period down a forward and a defenseman. But yeah, it's 1-0 Toronto after one. A minute and 5 seconds into the second period, Bertuzzi, who's all of a sudden hot goal scoring wise, gets one from Lagesson and Nylander. Leafs press for another. The shots are 8-1 for Toronto halfway through the period, and at 13:12, Matthews gets his 53rd of the season. Nylander and Knies with the assists there. Leafs press with 6 minutes left. We get a power play for Toronto. That leads to a shorthanded goal. Kerfoot with the goal at 14:39. He goes glove side on a breakaway. So that makes it 3-1. Coyotes then finish the kill. Mosier has a shot that's blocked as the Coyotes press. That goal gave him some life. So third period, Stetcher has a near miss from the side of the net. The Coyotes press at 6 minutes. They had a lot of opportunities. Logan Cooley would get him a goal closer. He scores from Michelli and Valimaki at 9:52. And then the Coyotes press to tie it. So it's like that confidence was there. They'd been 3 goals down. Now it's only a 1-goal difference. Shots are 8-2 for Arizona with 5 minutes left. Eventually they pull the goalie looking to tie it, but instead it's an empty netter. It's William Nylander from Kampf at 19 minutes. Takes the tension out of the game. Toronto wins 4-2. They go to 34-17-8 with the win. Arizona 23-31-5 with the loss. It's a 14-game winless streak now for Arizona. I don't know how many more they lose before it becomes another video. Feels like we're getting close. 3 stars are Knies, Nylander, and Kerfoot. Shots on net, Arizona 9-8 in the first, and then Toronto 14-10 in the second before Arizona outshoots them in the third, 13-4. Final shots are 32-26 for Arizona. Power plays, the Coyotes didn't have any. Toronto had one, they did not score on it. Hits 46-31 for Arizona. Ingram saved 22 out of 25. Wall was a wall. 30 saves out of 32 shots. All right, next up, the Winnipeg Jets and the Dallas Stars. So it's Hellebuck versus Ottinger, and I'm just going to say it. I thought Ottinger had the best game he's had in a while. And Dallas, again, this is what they can do when they're playing well, and this was an impressive game tonight. So early hit by Dillon on Dellandrea kind of sets the tone for this one. There was a lot of hitting in this. Stars press, Heiskanen fires one wide. The Jets press at 2.5 minutes. The shots are 4-2 for Winnipeg, 4 minutes in, but Dallas would score first. It's Robertson from Pavelski at 6:52, and the Stars are getting some transition, some rush chances in this game. Something that Winnipeg doesn't normally allow. Like, how many games was it they didn't allow anything more than 3 goals in a game? The shots even up. Hellebuck pretty sharp. The Jets press with 7 minutes left. The Stars press with 5 minutes left. And then Pavelski scores how Pavelski does. He tips one in. Hakanpää and Hintz with the assists at 16:41. And then at 18:17, one of my favorite players now. Didn't take long, but Stankoven's there. He scores from Johnston and Ben. Buries it in close. That was only the 9th shot on net for Dallas, and it's the 3rd one that's gone in the net. I don't know which of those Hellebuck was supposed to save, but yeah, Dallas is up 3-0 after one. Second period, shots are 6-1 Dallas at 3.5 minutes. Lowry gets upset at a non-call that probably should have been called. I don't disagree with him. Ehlers with a near miss as the Jets press. More pressure by the Jets at 4.5 minutes. The Stars get some pressure at 9.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Jets, and they score on it. At 13:24, Nemesnikov scores from Ehlers and Pionk. Robertson to Smith then gets blocked. Jets press with 1.5 minutes left, but they're still down 3-1 after 2. And yeah, they had some good chances in that second period. Third period, Early press by Dallas. Strong forechecking by the Dallas Stars in that third period. Jets get some pressure at 4 minutes. We get a power play for Dallas. Things get pushy on a hold by Hellebuck. We end up with 29 seconds of 5-on-3 for Dallas. Winnipeg kills everything off there. Jets press at 9.5 minutes, but they're kept to the outside. As the shot totals would indicate, the shots were 12-2 for Dallas with 9.5 minutes left. Teams exchange rush chances. The Stars were back checking pretty well late in the game as well. The goalie pull happens, and from his own blue line, Rope Hintz hits the empty net at 18:50 to make your final score 4-1. Dallas goes to 36-17-9 with the win. With the loss, the Jets 37-16-5 on the season. Your 3 stars in this one: Ottinger, Pavelski, and Johnston. Shots on net: 12-10 Winnipeg in the first, 10-8 Dallas in the second, 16-6 Dallas in the third. And that's the difference between how Boston played tonight and how Dallas played tonight. Dallas got better as the game went along with the 3-goal lead, whereas Boston, not so much. So power plays, Winnipeg scored on the only one they had. Dallas did not score on either of theirs. They did manage 36 shots, whereas Winnipeg managed 26. Hits were 36-31 for Winnipeg. It was a physical game. Hellebuck, 32 saves on 35 shots, and Ottinger, 25 saves on 26 shots. Again, Ottinger, good game for him, and we'll see if that carries over into the next one. Next up, Minnesota and Nashville. So after the video I did earlier today, I was like, you know what? It'll be fun to see if Minnesota can win this game and maybe tighten up the race a little bit. Nope. All I said to Yvonne when she came home, she goes out on Thursday, so all I said to her was, I'm sorry about the Jets. I'm sorry about the Wild. I'm sorry that my team played a role in one of those. So Gustafsson versus Saros in this one. The Preds press at 2 minutes, and you could see that Nashville was the better team pretty much right out of the gate. They had both of the shots 3 minutes in. But the Wild press are kept to the outside. Boldy has a rush chance that's saved. Fabro has a shot that's held as Nashville presses, but it's Minnesota that scores first. It's Dewar bearing a rebound from the slot. Duhaime and Hartman with the assists at 9:51. But Nashville, they answer. First, it's Trennan from Yossi at 10:40, and then 8 seconds later, Cole Smith puts Nashville in the lead where they would stay. Shots are 10-5 for Nashville with 6.5 minutes left. Evangelista almost adds one after that. It's 2-1 Nashville after one. Second period, Johansson's denied on a one-timer. The shots are 2-0 Wild at 3.5 minutes. Bogosian's denied as the Wild gets some pressure. Things get pushy on a hold by Saros. Power play for Nashville, that gets killed off. And then the Wild get a power play 1 second after their penalty ended. That's killed off as well. Things get punchy in front of the Preds bench, so it's 2 minutes of 4-on-4 for that. Middleton had a fight with Lauzon. The Wild come out of that with a power play. It was a very testy game at this stage. That power play's killed off with 2:37 left. Nashville gets a power play and they score on theirs. It's Philip Forsberg giving them the 2-goal lead from Yossi and Nyquist at 17:55. The Wild press in the final minute. The odd thing is the Wild actually had a decent second period. Just Nashville had the only goal. So it's 3-1 Nashville going into the third. And 1:32 in, Yossi scores from Sissons. I've been talking about Yossi a lot and how I think he's pushing his way into the Norris conversation. He is absolutely pushing his way into the Norris conversation. We get a power play for the Wild. Boldy has a shot that's held. There's some pushing there. That power play is killed off. Shots are 6-5 for the Wild at 6.5 minutes. Doesn't matter. O'Reilly buries one from the slot to widen the lead for Nashville. Nyquist and Carrier with the assists at 8:03. Preds look for another, and McDonough would find it from Evangelista at 13:57 on a one-timer from the slot. Your final score is 6-1 for Nashville. They go to 34-25-2. They've won, 8 in a row now? Yeah, it's getting pretty hot. If you're a Nashville fan, this team's red hot right now. Minnesota 28-26-6 with the loss. Here's your no mercy magnet right here. 3 stars, Yossi, Saros. Is this Yossi Saros? So Yossi Saros. Anyways, the good thing it's not Yossi, huh? All right. And Nyquist, the 3rd star. Now somebody's going to have an NHL game go, Yossi, why didn't I think of that? All right, shots on net, 13-7 in favor of Nashville in the first, 10-6 Minnesota in the second, 17-12 Minnesota in the third. Why didn't I think of Yossi? Anyways, I got to go fire up the NHL game when this is done. To heck with sleep. 34-31 were the shots for Minnesota in total. Power plays, Minnesota 0 for 3, Nashville 1 for 2. The hits, 17-15 Nashville. Gustafsson saves 25 out of 31. Saros saves 33 out of 34. And now I need to change boards one last time. All right, so Colorado and Chicago, and I'm thinking about making a magnet change. You will notice there's a Tony the Tiger magnet. You will notice there's a No Mercy magnet. I now have magnets that are Dalek magnets. Now, Daleks, if you watch Doctor Who, what do they say? Exterminate. And I feel like if it's a no mercy game and a shutout, it's kind of more of an extermination than anything else. So I may change that designation probably next season. I probably won't do it this season. But anyways, I'm just throwing that out there. Guys can let me know your thoughts. So it's Annunen versus Mrazek in this one. The shots are 2 apiece at 4 minutes. Hawks press and Annunen, or Annunen, doesn't matter. He was sharp. He was very, very sharp tonight. So I'd better get his name right. Bedard's denied. The shots are 10-5 for Chicago with 5.5 minutes left. Keep in mind that there's 9 games on at this point, and really there's not much going on in this one other than the Hawks dominating and Annunen making the saves. Avs press with 3.5 minutes left. Bedard with a near miss from the slot, and then Parise on a turnover. 2-on-1 rush is the result, and Jack Johnson with the nice assist at 17:58. Avs press for another. They're up 1-0 after 1. So after a slow start, they pick it up. Second period, shots are 3-1 for the Avs at 3 minutes. So Chicago no longer dealing with a team that's asleep. Avs press at 4.5 minutes. Net feed to Colton near miss. There's a power play for the Avs. They score on it. It's Ross Colton with like 5 seconds left in it, or less than that. McKinnon and Taves with the assist at 6:56. He buries that one in close. And then at 7:38, it's a cross-ice pass. It's buried. It's Parise with his second goal of the game. Johansson and Drouin with the assists. The Hawks draw a power play. That's killed off. We had a fight between Wagner and Reese Johnson. Bedard has a net drive that's blocked. Crevier has a shot that deflects out. The Avs press with 5.5 minutes left. Makar had a rush chance that was saved. And at 19:59, they were pressing, must have seen the clock. Taves hits one just before the buzzer. Rantanen and Makar with the assists. It's a rout. It's 4-0. So we go to the third period. Manson slashes Bedard across the wrist to the point where Bedard drops the stick. No call. Now, I don't normally talk about it, but that's like the most blatant thing I've seen maybe this season that wasn't called, that you can see, like the puck's right. Anyway. So the Hawks press at 4 minutes. I would just be concerned with that slash that, right to the wrist. That could hurt the wrist. But anyways, Hawks press at 4 minutes. Plenty of zone time for Chicago. Not a ton of shots at that point. McKinnon has a rush chance that's defended. The shots are 5-3 for Chicago with 9.5 minutes left. Lehkonen has a slot shot that gets blocked. Makar's denied from the doorstep. And then at 17:32, McKinnon reminds us why he is maybe the best in the game. He's in that conversation. But McKinnon scores from Makar on an end-to-end rush and is post and in. Makes your final score 5-0. He wanted that no mercy magnet. And the great magnet goes to Annunen, who gets the shutout. Your score's 5-0, so the Colorado Avalanche go to 37-19-5. With the loss, Chicago 15-40-5. They are the first NHL team this year to 40 regulation losses. Your 3 stars are Parise, Annunen, as well as McKinnon. So Parise with the first star. Shots on net 13-10 Chicago in the first, 11-5 Colorado in the second, 13-6 Colorado in the third. They started slow, but once they warmed up, final shots are 34-24 Colorado. Power plays, the Avs scored on the only one they had. Chicago did not score on the only one they had. Shots are 18 apiece, or hits are 18 apiece, I should say. Annunen with 24 saves on 24 shots for said shutout, and Mrazek 29 saves on 34 shots. So, yeah, the Avs impressive tonight. I'll go that far. All right, Pittsburgh and Seattle. So Seattle's trying to stay in the hunt. The problem is the teams they're chasing, they won tonight. So Jarry versus Grubauer, the shots are 2-0 Penguins at 3 minutes. The Penguins were playing well. O'Connor has a chance off a face-off. That's held. The Penguins press at 4.5 minutes. McCann then has a fast break. That's defended. The Kraken press at 8 minutes. They would open the scoring. Bjorkstrand, he scores from Wenberg and Borgen at 12:25. We get a power play for Seattle. That's killed off. Penguins get a power play after that. That's killed off as well. It's 1-0 Seattle after 1. Second period, shots are 2 apiece, 4 minutes in. Ruhwedel has a chance. It's held. That was already his 4th shot of the game, and we were early in the second period. Power play for Pittsburgh. Crosby has a one-timer that's saved. That's killed off. Shots are 6-2 Pittsburgh, 7.5 minutes in. Beniers is then denied on a rush. Jarry holds there. Larson has a shot that's blocked as the Kraken press. Kraken press again halfway through the period. Pens then draw a power play. That's killed off. Eberle's denied from a sharp angle. The Kraken press with 2.5 minutes left, and Gord has a slot shot that gets held. So it stays 1-0 after 2, and Jarry was doing everything he could to keep this one as close as possible. Early press by the Penguins in the third. Near miss for Wenberg and close. Crosby has a deflection that's held. COL-CHI had a net feed. That was blocked. Shots are 4-3 Seattle at 6 minutes. We get a power play for the Kraken. Bjorkstrand fires one wide. That power play's killed off. One shot on net. Borgen has a one-timer that's held. Beniers has a net feed that gets picked off. Eller has a rush chance that gets blocked. Power play for the Penguins. Wenberg gets denied and close. He buries the next one. He buries a rebound on the power play. Yamamoto and Tolvanen with the assists at 15:01. With 17.7 seconds left, Seattle gets a power play, which allows them to preserve the shutout. Thus, the Tony the Tiger Magnet, two of them right side by side. And so your final score is 2-0. Seattle 26, 22, and 11 with the win, with the loss. Pittsburgh 27, 22, and 8. So they lose a chance to gain ground on teams ahead of them. 3 stars in this one: Grubauer, Bjorkstrand, and Wenberg. I would have given some thought to Jari, but I like goalies. Shots on net, 18-8, Pittsburgh in the first, 10-8, Pittsburgh in the second, 12-5, Seattle in the third. All hockey fans like goalies. Shots on net, 33-28 for Pittsburgh. The Penguins 0 for 3 on the power play. Seattle 1 for 4. The hits 14-10 for Pittsburgh. Jari saves 26 out of 28. Grubauer saved all 33 shots for his first shutout in a while. Almost 2 full calendar years since his last shutout. So kudos to him for that, and we'll see what he does next. All right, next up, Vancouver and LA. And yeah, I'm wearing LA. LA, this is the most impressive road game I've seen them play in a while. They dictated the play of this game basically from the opening whistle. So it's Talbot versus Demko. There's an early Kings power play. That kills it off, and that helped them with dictating play. Shots are only one apiece, 3.5 minutes in. Laferriere has a net feed that's held. The Canucks press at 6 minutes. We get a power play for Vancouver. Hughes has a shot that's blocked late in it. That's killed off by the Kings. Zadorov has a rush chance that's blocked. Höglander nearly buries one. And then Doughty fires one past a screen to open the scoring for LA. Fiala and Moore with the assists at 13-19. Zadorov has a blast that deflects out. The Kings press in the final minute. Fiala had a buzzer beater. That was saved by Demko. It's 1-0 LA after 1. Second period. Early press by the Canucks. The Kings rush and press right back. Gavrikov has a wrist shot that's held. The Kings press at 4.5 minutes. And they just wore the Canucks down. Canucks couldn't kill it, and they kill it. It looked like a power play. They could not clear it, and they had, I think it was both Hughes and Hronek were on the ice for more than 2 minutes. But yeah, Kopitar, it's off a turnover. He buries one. Byfield and Doughty with the assists at 5:14. Just a masterful set of shifts there by the LA Kings. We get a power play for Vancouver. That's killed off. Myers has a wraparound. There's a near miss there. Garland was right at the net and couldn't bury it there either. Shots are 6-3 Canucks with 9.5 minutes left. Kings are just controlling the pace of the game. This is a Kings game. Pressed by the Kings with 6.5 minutes left. Again, the Canucks get pinned down a bit. Besser then has a one-timer that's held. The Kings press in the final minute. So it's 2-0 Kings after 2 periods of play. Third period. Canucks press at a minute and a half. The fans call when the referee doesn't, and then magically, shortly thereafter, the Canucks get a power play. I really think fans' reactions make a difference. So Besser buries one past the screen to get the Canucks on the board. From Miller and Suter at 2:55. As I said earlier, my wife wasn't home, so I had to send her the voice message about Besser scoring. But the Kings get a power play shortly thereafter, and they score on theirs as well. At 4:27, it's Fiala from Kopitar and Doughty. He buries that one from a sharp angle, and it just takes the crowd right back out of it. Pettersson then has a shot that's deflected high, and at 12:31 on a rush, Clark with a really nice move buries one. Byfield and Lewis with the assists, so Byfield with 2 helpers tonight. And then at 15:38 on a breakaway, it is Moore scoring. Fiala with the assist. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. The Canucks were getting kind of frustrated. Don't blame them. The Kings came in and beat them 5-1 tonight. Kings go to 30-19-10 with a big win. With the loss, Vancouver 38-17-7 overall. 3 stars in this one: Doughty, Kopitar, and Fiala. Shots on net 7-3 LA in the first. Like when I saw those 3 shots for Vancouver in the first, I thought, "Oof, that they're playing LA's game." Second period, shots were 10-7 Vancouver, 10-6 Vancouver in the third. Final shots were 23-20 for Vancouver. Power plays, the Kings 1 for 2, Vancouver 1 for 3. Hits 33-24 for Vancouver. Talbot saved 22 out of 23. He had a good game, and we know if you're a Kings fan watching this, you wanted to see Talbot have a good game. Demko 15 saves on 20 shots. So talked about PDO. I'm just going to go ahead and say this game tonight's going to hurt the Canucks PDO overall this year. You don't know what Canucks and PDO and that whole thing, just Google it, and you'll get the stats and all of that on what PDO is. All right, last game of the night, Anaheim and San Jose. And of course, it's an 80s game. Thank you so much, Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks have been doing whatever they can to make me a fan of theirs, and tonight they didn't let the game go to overtime. I appreciate it. So it's Gibson versus Kähkönen. Fowler gets hurt early. He's bloody. He exits. He does not come back into the game. Remember, they had already taken Lyubushkin out of the lineup because they were trading him to Toronto. So Lacombe went into the lineup. Fowler gets hurt, so Lacombe played a much more prominent role. Kind of worked out all right for Anaheim in the end. Early chances for San Jose. They end up pressing, and they score first. It's Duclair from Zetterlund and Ohotchik at 2:46. Buries a one-timer there, but Anaheim answers right away. It's Leo Carlsson from Killorn and Henrique at 3:07 on a 3-on-2 rush. He buries it. That's his first goal of the 2024 calendar year. Sharks press for response. We get a power play for San Jose. That leads to a shorthanded goal. Lots of shorthanded goals tonight. This one, courtesy of Brett Leeson. Mintyukov and Gudas with the assists at 4:37. He buries that one on a rush. The Ducks have a lead. Ducks finish the kill. They then get a power play. The Sharks kill that off. And the game really settled in the second half of the period, which was good because I was like, I don't know how many goals this game's going to have. It already had 3. But second period, fans call one. The referee doesn't. The shots are 1 apiece at 3 minutes. At 5:18, Anaheim gets the 2-goal lead. Killorn from Henrique and Lindstrom. That was 5-hole on a 2-on-1 rush. Kähkönen had some technical issues tonight. We have a power play for the Sharks. That's killed off. Sharks go back to the power play. They score on this one. It's Hoffman from Zetterlund and Granlund at 10:26. The Ducks press for response, but the Sharks go back to the power play. They score on this one as well. At 15:40, it's Eklund from Duclair and Granlund. So suddenly we have a tie game where I'm like, I don't like ties in California. 3:10 left. The Ducks get a power play. They score on it. It is Vetrano from Lacombe and Strome at 17:35. With 2:10 left, the Ducks go back to the power play. And they enjoyed those assists so much that Henrique scores from Lacombe and Strome. And that's at 18:41. So I like that. The names rhyme. They have assists together. Good. So after 2 periods of play, the score in this one is, 5-3 in favor of the Anaheim Ducks. Third period, power play for the Sharks. That's killed off. The Ducks rush after it's done. Ducks draw a power play. That was killed off as well. Things get punchy on a hold by Gibson. That led to 4-on-4, which led to 1 minute and 42 seconds of 4-on-3 for a Sharks power play. And they score on it. It's Duclair from Granlund and Hoffman at 9:30. Now, fans in attendance, that other power play goal by Eklund was originally given to Duclair. So when Duclair scores in the third, the hats rain down. I'm watching the Anaheim feed, and the Anaheim announcers are like, he doesn't actually have a hat trick. They might want to stop throwing their hats down. The PA announcer might want to say something. And I thought it was great. The PA announcer said, like, twice, Duclair with his second goal of the game. Like, he really made sure second, as if to say, stop throwing your hats on the ice. So that made it a 1-goal game, which made me nervous because like this is going to go to overtime and a shootout. I don't know if I'm going to have enough room. San Jose pulls the goalie. They had pressure, and Lundestrom takes that pressure off. He scores at 19:36. So thank you, Isaac Lundestrom. The Anaheim Ducks win this one 6-4. They go to 21-35-3. It's a miserable record, but hey, at least they've got 21 wins. Anaheim drops to 15-38-5 on the season. So they and Chicago are fighting it out for last place overall. 3 stars in this one: Henrique, Duclair, and Granlund. I'm kind of surprised that 2 Sharks got in the 3 stars, but it's in San Jose, so all right. Shots on net: 11-7 San Jose in the first, 10-9 Anaheim in the second, 13-8 Anaheim in the third. They do outshoot the Sharks 30-28 overall. Power plays: 2 for 5 for Anaheim, 3 for 6 for San Jose. They called this one tight, considering there were only 10 hits in the game. 7 of those by San Jose, only 3 by Anaheim, and yet you had so many power plays. Gibson saves 24 out of 28. Kähkönen, 24 saves on 29 shots. That's back-to-back games where Kähkönen has not looked sharp. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always, regarding these games. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you've not done so thus far. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.